Hey, how are you? We're here with another video. Be sure to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. We are filming in Valens Conservation area. It's part of the Hamilton region in Ontario, Canada. Do look it up if you're not from Ontario. We're not familiar with Valens, but it's a beautiful park, and be sure to watch. We're going to be doing some cooking outside. We're going to buffalo and potatoes, bannock, bacon. Doing some gear reviews, trying out new gear, going over the pack and what's been used this trip. So be sure to watch and I hope you enjoy. I get my Eureka Spitfire Duo on the go here. I get the tent stakes in the corners of the tent. I get my poles in. As you can see, it's completely mesh. So it's going to offer a great ventilation throughout the day and throughout the night. Right now we're in a heat warning. It's supposed to get into the high 30s with the humidex probably pushing 40 plus degrees. So it's going to be fairly hot. So right now I'm in the shade. I figure I'll get this set up and then I'll hit the water in the kayak and I'll do some fishing and paddling around. And I'll bring you guys along to show you a little bit of the lake and see if we catch anything. I'm going to throw the fly on this, and I'm going to roll back the doors, and I'm going to set up my bid roll inside, and I'll show you what I have for gear. Now that I have my side door held open, I blew up my Speed mattress. The side of the mattresses have larger tubes, so it kind of prevents you from rolling off the edge. This is a very comfortable mattress. It is a little bit wider than some of the other ones, or wider than Thermarest. I went with this one here because it is lighter than a Thermarest. It packs down smaller than a Thermarest when it's rolled up, but also it gives you 2.5 inches of cushion between you and the ground. This does have downfill inside of it, so this is also a really good mattress for winter camping. I believe this one has an R value of 4 or 5, so it's not too bad, but I highly recommend this mattress because of the weight, the size of it once blowing up. It comes with a great little repair kit if you do puncture it, but it also gives you a little bit more height and cushion when you're sleeping on the ground instead of, you know, an inch and a half foam mattress or a Thermarest. This here gives you a fair amount of comfort when you're sleeping. Now I'm going to throw in my sleeping bag. It is the U.S. military sleep system sleeping bag. I brought the little bit warmer version of it instead of the green, which is more spring and summer. I did bring the black one. I figure that it's going to get too overly hot, so I'm going to probably just sleep on top of this and it'll be good enough for tonight. Now I do have the bivvy for this and the second sleeping bag, which all go into one another. It's rated for -40. I get it off of a military surplus site from the States. It was $150. The quality of it is very, very good condition, but it gives me 4-season options as far as sleeping, so I don't have to buy a summertime bag, a winter bag. This here gives me, you know, all 4 seasons in one sleeping bag. I could use the bivvy and basically just sleep in the bivvy that comes with it. It's made out of Gore-Tex, so it is waterproof, and you can throw it down in the snow and sleep in it that way. But I just brought the warmer bag this time, even though it is pushing 40 degrees out. Like I said, this is going to act like a second mattress for me. I'm just going to sleep on top of it tonight. I'm not going to tuck inside, but it's just going to give me a little bit more cushion on the ground and comfort. So as I said at the beginning of my video, I'm bringing lots of gear with me. I'm going to be trying it out. And so I brought a second sleep setup. I brought this hammock. This hammock has the nylon straps with it, with the carabiners on it, which I can quickly hang up in a couple minutes. It might be a cooler option, considering how hot it is today and how hot it might be tonight. In combination, I have my AquaQuest tarp, which is a heavier material than some of the other nylon synthetic material tarps. It's roughly 5 pounds, but it has a built-in ridge line. It is 100% waterproof. It's darker, so it'll give me more shade from the sun. If it rains, I will be completely dry with that over top of me. And this is another very comfortable way of camping. I don't have a bug net for this yet, and so that might be one downfall, depending on how bad the mosquitoes get today. Right now they're not too bad, so I might be able to pull it off. But this is another camping setup that you can use if you go out. This setup can fit into my Osprey pack, with the tarp being roughly 5 pounds. I'll say the hammock is probably 1.5 pounds. I'm around 6 pounds, 7 pounds. If I look at my Eureka tent, my tent is 2.5 pounds. My Expeed mattress is 1 pound, and that's where I save a lot of weight. And it compacts down smaller than my AquaQuest tarp. So I'm saving weight, and again, my tent packs down small, my mattress packs down small. I do have a lighter section of a sleeping bag, which can pack down small, and that will be around 3.5 pounds. So this setup can also pack into my Osprey pack. So the weight isn't really an issue. I'm roughly carrying 7 pounds either way, either between my hammock and tarp, and once I get a bug net, or using my tent, my Expeed mattress, my sleeping bag. So I do have multiple options to put into my Osprey pack here, which is nice depending on the conditions, the type of camping I'm doing, or just my comfort. If I want to be able to move around and have shelter, which I can move around in and do stuff in, I can do it in my tent. It's another lake in Hamilton conservation area. It's man-made. It's extremely shallow. It's actually my first time bringing the kayak out here, or any boat, but hidden that way, it's all grown up. It's probably a couple feet deep, but it's so grown up with weeds that you don't have a whole lot of depth to this lake. Stumps are within 4 inches of the water surface in some areas, and as you can see, As you can see, it's pretty full of weeds, and growing up, it's not too deep at all. Like it can vary between 3 feet, 4 feet, or the majority of it is it gives you probably a few inches. So you have to be really picky on what lures you use. So I'm using top water lures because don't dare try anything else, because you'll just get snagged up and hook logs or whatever on the bottom of the lake. But we'll see what we catch. There's a couple dragonflies, but we'll see what we do here, and I'll get back to you here in a couple minutes. So it's about 4 o'clock. I've been out here for a couple hours. I see people are having luck catching the fish offshore. Then again, this is the first time here, so I have been finding a lot of low spots in the lake. I have switched complete sides on the lake. I was on that side, but this side here seems to be a little bit deeper. Actually, quite a bit deeper. It's probably 4 to 5 feet deep compared to 1.5 feet to maybe 2 feet deep in some sections. But no, it's been beautiful here on the lake. It's been extremely hot. I've been applying sunscreen non-stop, but I'm still beet red, and I should probably wear long pants if I'm going to be sitting in the kayak for any amount of time. There's a little island off here. There's a bunch of dead trees. That is on a little sandbar back there, and a lot of seagulls are nesting on it. I've seen a few snapping turtles that every time I get close to them, they would go back underneath the water, so I wasn't able to get close enough for any footage. Another little island, but this here I imagine has a lot of bass in it. I didn't bring worms or bobbers. I probably should have, because I noticed that the people on shore off the bridge here, they're using bobbers with worms. So I brought the wrong bait by the looks of it. But it's getting too hot out here for me. I'm going to go back to camp, load the kayak back on the car, and head back to camp and start prepping supper. And I'll do some more gear reviews here in a little bit. I'll get back to the campsite just after 4 o'clock. I've been puttering around, made the fire, prepping supper, and tonight's going to be a gourmet meal. It's cooked over fire here, as you can see, in a beautiful cast frying pan, and do some potatoes and a little bit of oil to go with it. I bought a buffalo or bison steak, not your regular ground beef or beef steak. That Zers in Ontario, some of them do carry elk and bison, and it's really good. Not a whole lot of fat, very lean, and has a whole different taste. Very just a really good taste. It's hard to describe, but we're gonna get these potatoes going. I get my spices for tonight, my camp spices, salt and pepper, and we're gonna sit back, relax. Hopefully the mosquitoes don't get too bad. I do have my Thermacell mosquito repellent on, that way it'll keep it clear. They have picked up a little bit since it's getting cooler out and it's getting dark, so we'll sit here and cook supper up, and we'll be back very shortly. Potatoes are browning up nicely. Threw some salt pepper on them. There's the buffalo steak. I had to move it off the fire. It was getting a little bit too hot. It's better to just let it cook slowly, and keep the flavor in more. Look, it's just watering over this. Well, that's a finished product. Buffalo and fried potatoes over the fire in the cast iron skillet. That is the new Coleman lantern I got, 1300 lumens. I'll be doing a review on that later tonight when it gets dark. I had it going last night. I had to get the mantle burning and see if it worked. But I'm just going to enjoy supper, and we'll come back later on. I might have a little rest in the hammock here. Well, it's just about 10 o'clock here at Valens Lake. Tent set up. I got everything put away. Everything packs up, goes in my bag or in the tent. Keep the critters out of here. The new Coleman Signature Series lantern. My other one was just a basic Coleman lantern, and the glass mantle, it was 15 years old, and the glass mantle shattered in it, and because it didn't offer any protection around it, so I was lucky to have it last that long. Unfortunately, you get bumped and away she went. This new lantern, though, has a steel case around it, and it holds the mantle, the glass mantle, within it, so it has a lot more protection. This lantern also gives off 1300 lumens compared to the next level down, which is only 1000 lumens. You can go to the mega lantern, which is 3000 lumens, which Coleman makes, and but don't need that much power. You go through a lot more fuel that way. This has an 8-hour runtime on one canister of propane. I have it set to medium right now, and yeah, it gives off beautiful light. It has a back shield to it, so it reflects the light. The reflector does come off if you don't want it on, but it's nice having it on. It directs the light outward or in the direction you want it, and great little lantern. $84 at sale, and yeah, very happy with it. The fire's doing well, burning down. I get some more wood to throw on, but I'm going to call her quits here, and it's getting dark out. It's beautiful out. Clear sky. It's probably around 25 out right now. Still too hot, but hopefully it cools off later on, and I get a half decent night's sleep, and probably sleep on top of the sleeping bag without crawling inside. If I crawl inside, I'll probably sweat to death. But it's beautiful here, quiet. Hear the birds chirping, squirrel chattering at me. Yeah. Morning. Last night was very comfortable in the tent. Had a little bit of rain around 5 o'clock. The crows, squirrels, and that came alive. Start making a lot of noise. I start packing up the tent. I took out the air mattress and sleeping bag. Folded that up. I'm just gonna let it air out. It was so hot last night. As I suspected, I slept on top of the sleeping bag. I didn't even go inside of it. But no condensation. We kept it nice and dry. That even when it rained. I did not use the hammock because the mosquitoes during the night really came out, and it was just swarms of them. So, note to self, have to get a bug net for it if I do attempt to sleep outside in a hammock, and put a tarp over it. There is one downside though. Even if you do have a screen over it, it makes it difficult to access stuff or do stuff in the hammock. So unless you're going in the hammock and going directly to bed or just relaxing, you can't really play with your toys that you have in your kit with you, or if you want to eat, you have to open up the hammock and reach out in the bag and that sort of stuff. So you better take what you need with you into the hammock, and if you're in for the night, then you're in for the night. But I can see it for being ultralight camping, It's a good idea. It's very comfortable. I still prefer the tent, however. Like I said, it packs down, relatively small, weighs less than 3 pounds. That's around 2.5 pounds. But it gives me that much more room to, organize stuff. And if I want to read, I can sit up. I can, do more stuff in it. I know it's not bushcrafty to have a tent, but like I said, I get more options available to me. I have a AquaQuest tarp. I could, make a tarp shelter, or, go a little bit more simplistic. Or if I was out in the woods, you could cut a ridgepole and you could, make your own shelter. There's enough green vegetation around. You could hack all the limbs off spruce trees and pine trees all you want, and make your own shelter. But if you don't have to disturb nature, why do it? So it's kind of a gray area to me. I prefer a tent because mosquitoes, for one, and ticks. That Lyme disease is a huge concern, and if bushcrafters or if traditional explorers had this gear, they would utilize it. They wouldn't say, oh, I'm not going to take it with me, going to do bushcraft. So they used what they had on hand, and for the weight of this, really it's worth it. So to go over the gear I did use during the night or during the day yesterday, this is my sleeping bag. That's what it packs down to. This weighs around 4.5 pounds. It's lighter than my AquaQuest tarp. My fire starting kit, which I took a picture of and I showed you, has 9-volt battery. The ferro rod matches, but I get 2 ferro rods and a magnesium rod in here. I get my fat wood here. I get my Leatherman here. This is a sidekick. I get my Mora, my speed mattress. Those are my tent bags. But I also get gloves, leather gloves. I don't want blisters on the hand. I would never bring this lantern if I was doing backpack camping. It's too big. But this is just a gear review on this piece of equipment. So I kind of incorporated that into last night's trip. I did use my stainless steel plate, my GSI spork or fork knife spoon set. I did bring some extras, which I wouldn't bring to the woods with me if I was going backpacking, but I did bring spatula, cast iron, just because I was camping here at the park. My coffee kettle, I used that last night. My stainless steel mug. I brought tons of water. I brought my cooler. I filled that right full of water, and my jug here full of water, just because I'm not going to go to the lake and take it out. I could do that and boil it, but again, this is just a quick gear review, like just seeing how everything is, seeing if everything held up from the last time I used it. So I'm not gonna get into too much criticism here for it, but with the heat the way it was, lots of water. I had to drink lots of water. That's why I brought the cooler. I brought perishable items, so I didn't have a lot of non-perishable. So to keep it cold and frozen, I brought my cooler just to keep the water in there and keep my steak in there, and but again, going to the woods backpacking, don't need it. You just bring non-perishables with you. I get Mountain House in my bag here. I could have very well have had those. So I could have had these instead of bringing my own food from home. Over here are some of the things that's left in my bag that I never used. I do have a second fire starting kit, so I do carry two. In my osprey pack, this is a removable pouch if I want to use it for day tripping. I leave my big bag at camp, so I'll carry a fire kit with me in my osprey pack and in my day bag. That way you always have a backup. I get my stove here, my MSR International. Last night I cooked over the fire. If there was a fire ban on, then I would have had to have used my stove. So last night I didn't use it. I cooked over the fire. So this here did weight to me. This here added a few pounds. Don't need it. So I could possibly take that out of the bag, but I keep it in the bag in case there is a fire ban and go from there. Last night I used my big lantern I had, so I didn't use my candle lantern. I could have used that. I didn't use my fishing gear. Again, that's for survival, or if you're backpacking and, you know, bushcrafting and you're doing a survival situation. I could use the yo-yo fishing reels. Here I can't. Now this is not a survival situation. This is not an emergency, so I can't use them. So I could pretty much take that right out of my pack. I did not use my solar Goal Zero lantern. Again, I could have, but I did not. I used my larger one, my torch, my Write in the Rain book. The Write in the Rain book is good. It takes down notes. I can write down things that I see along the way, take notes of the trail, that sort of thing. A headlamp, and I bounce between the two, so I didn't use this one over here. A deck of cards, playing cards, keeps you busy, but I never used these last night. But you can play solitaire, play cards, that sort of thing. Bandana, that's more of my first day kit, which is right here in this black bag, and it's always good when you don't have to use it. But it has toothpaste in there, it has some wipes, disinfectant wipes, that sort of stuff, bandages, afterbite, flagging tape. I never used. I'm not on any trails, but if I was going to mark a trail, flagging tape's always good to have. Sharpening stone for my knives. I didn't have to use that. I sharpened everything before I came out. Water purification tablets. Didn't have to use those. I brought drinking water with me. And here I have my quart pot. I didn't have to use that, but I have coffee in there, honey, salt, pepper, all kinds of small things that you can use for cooking, but I didn't use that. I brought food from home. I have it packed in my cooler. In my Berkey bottle, my water filter, so if I was going to drink out of the lake, this here already has a filter in it. I would use a water purification tablet along with it, and just ensure, even though if you do have a filter, it doesn't guarantee that it's going to get rid of all the bacteria or viruses in it. So, you know, I use both. That way you can be sure. Or if I had to, I could have boiled the water. And my backpack. I put everything in my backpack and unpacked it. So all this stuff minus some of the larger items, which I brought just for convenience. Everything else though goes in my bag. Something new that I've been having to carry around is camera gear. So, well, a little waterproof bag here, memory cards and a spare battery, extendable GoPro rod, but it's also waterproof, so if I do drop it in the lake while I'm kayaking, it'll float. A smaller one that came with the GoPro, which I can use for handheld. Right now I'm using a tripod. I'm just hanging onto the tripod section in my hand right now, and the GoPro itself. And I've been noticing that battery life is a big issue when filming, because the battery doesn't have a very long life to it. So I have to get a battery pack. That way I can charge the batteries while I'm out on the trail or while I'm out camping. But this is my gear review, and now I'm going to do breakfast. I'll get it set up and I'll start back up. Just hooking the bacon up now. I'll get some bannock here, ready to go with some maple syrup. Pot of coffee on. I'm just gonna sit and relax a little bit and have breakfast. Now I gotta head back and get ready for the little ones coming to visit. And I'll have to pack up the car for next week. So now that I tried out some of the stuff I have here and know that it's going to be good, I'm going to bring a lot of that with me next week when I bring my daughters out camping. But no, they like getting away and getting away from the town and civilization. They would rather run around in the woods and go fishing or camping than sit at home. So, but there's still a lot of restrictions here with COVID. Like, the washrooms are open, but the showers are closed. You can't have a shower. The boat launches and that, they're not really operating. Like, you can bring your own boat, but you can't rent a canoe, you can't rent kayaks. The store here and at the other campgrounds, you can't go into the little stores to get firewood or whatever, or if you want your Jiffy Pops, you can't go into the stores. They have it shut down, so you have to go up to like a kiosk window to pay for stuff and ask for what you're looking for. But Valens is a beautiful campground. Bannock's on now, just finishing that up. Not a whole lot longer. Everything's packed up, ready to go. The bannock and bacon was delicious. It's another beautiful day out. It's going to get hot again. It didn't cool off for too long. It's going to go to mid 30s, high 30s. And with the humidex, we're looking around 40 degrees. But thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoy the trip. Take your family camping, go camping yourself, get outside and enjoy it. There's lots of different places to go, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.